Good day everyone! Welcome to the first part of today's video lecture for Module 3, Remedial Instruction in Reading. I am given B. Lapid from BSE English 3A, and I will be your reporter for today. I hope that you can learn something from me. Enjoy learning! Our video lecture for today is divided into 4 parts, and the coverage for today's discussion is: Number 1. What is remedial reading? Number 2. Correcting perceptual and decoding deficits in word recognition. Number 3. Definition of terms. And lastly, number 4. Correcting basic sight vocabulary deficit. But before we go to our main agenda for today, let me first share with you our learning objectives for this lesson. Number 1. Develop students' ability to diagnose student needs and prescribe tasks that create better matches between learning needs and preferences. Number 2. Create activities that aid in the reading skills of the students. And lastly, number 3. Explain the value of creating specific materials for students with reading abilities. Now that we all know our objectives, let us now start with our first topic, which is: what is remedial reading? To begin with, remedial reading refers to correcting or improving deficient skills in a specific subject. Thus, remedial reading is a change in instruction that helps remedy a weakness in the area of reading. It is believed that reading remedial programs should be research-based and implemented with fidelity by teachers who have received sufficient training. The instruction should be and should move sequentially from the simplest concepts to the more complex. Instruction should be consistent and intensive, with teacher modeling, guided practice, and independent practice. Now that we all know what is reading remedial, let us now move on to its subtopic, which is: what is reading? Let us know what is reading in the field of remedial instruction. According to Verheul-House, reading is a subtle and complex process that involves sensation, perception, comprehension, application, and integration. A judgment on what the author has said is popularly known as reaction. Integration is the ability to assimilate idea or concept into one's background of experience, so that it is useful as part of the individual's total experience. The skill in making individual words construct useful ideas as they are read in context is called comprehension, while the ability to pronounce the word as a meaningful unit is termed as word perception. Let us now tackle the importance of reading and the factors that influence reading proficiency. The importance of reading is: through reading, man is able to explore the mysteries of the world, and reading enables man to uncover some answers to questions. While the factors that influence reading proficiency are ineffective and untrained teacher, lack of instructional materials, and lastly, researchers have shown that pupils who were taught to read to when they were 2 to 5 years old often became successful readers. And now, how can we diagnose the reading difficulties among readers? And here are some. Reading difficulties may be revealed by means of systematic diagnosis. Decode pointed out that the heart of diagnosis is an intelligent interpretation of the facts. Number 2, the diagnostician must possess both theoretical knowledge and practical experience. Also, you should know what questions to ask, what tests and procedures to use to get the needed facts. And lastly, number 3, one of the principles in diagnostic analysis of students is by starting his instructional materials. Another is by looking forward to the causes of the symptoms of the reading problem. The first step in the diagnostic analysis of children with the reading difficulties is to make a general or survey diagnostic. The second is not to compare the expected functioning level as determined by the IQ. The development in the brain of a child does have any impact to the reading difficulty of a child. Brain development and reading ability can be reinforced by parents through reading to the children. Our next topic will be how should remedial reading be taught? The following are the strategies for teaching remedial reading or suggested instructional framework that we should know all about. Once you are empowered with effective strategies for teaching remedial reading, here is Reading Horizons suggested instructional framework for introducing each strategy to your students. Number 1. Review for 2 to 4 minutes. Give a quick review of the skills taught the day before and connect it to the new information. Number 2. Teacher modeling for 5 to 10 minutes. Model the new concept with explicit visual instruction. It is better to think out loud. And number 3, guided practice for 10 to 15 minutes. Guide students through concrete hands-on practice that reinforces the new concept. This can be accomplished through dictation, the use of RLCs, and other group activities. Number 4. Summarize and reflect for 2 to 4 minutes. Ask questions like, what have we learned? Or, how can we use this? Number 5. Independent practice for 5 to 10 minutes. Students practice the skills learned independent of teacher or peer guidance. This can be accomplished through RLCs, student workbook pages, and/or software lessons. And lastly, application. Remind students to pay attention to words that follow the skill or skills taught as they read. Let us now move on to our second topic, correcting perceptual and decoding deficits in word recognition. To better understand the topic, let us first define the title using these 3 main words. The first one is perceptual. According to Oxford Dictionary, it is the relating to the ability to interpret or become aware of something through the senses. Next is deficit. According to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a problem that causes a decrease in some ability. And lastly, word recognition. It is the ability of a reader to recognize written words correctly and virtually effortlessly. Therefore, the topic deals with correcting and identifying the disabilities of the eyes in word recognition. Visual analysis of an unfamiliar word must precede the application of knowledge of word parts. Both of these come before the final synthesis of the parts into recognition of words, according to Eckwall and Shanker. And we have 2 ways of identifying whether a student has insufficient competence in the visual analysis of words. The first way is that the student, when pronouncing words verbally, selects inappropriate elements to sound out. He or she tries again and again to use the same analysis even when it does not work. And the second one, when the teacher shows him or her the word covering up parts of it. If the student is able to recognize it, then at least one of his or her problems in word recognition is faulty visual analysis. Let us now tackle the third topic, which is definition of terms. The first is alphabetic knowledge. It is the understanding that letters represent sound so that words may be read by saying the sounds represented by the letters, and words may be spelled by writing the letters that represent the sound in a word. Next is sight word knowledge. All words any one reader can recognize instantly without automaticity, not necessarily with meaning. Third is basic sight words. It is a designated list of words, usually of high utility. And lastly, knowledge on sound symbol correspondence. It is the reader's ability to use phonics, phonemic, and structural analysis knowledge. And now, we are down to our last topic, which is correcting sight word knowledge deficit. In this topic, a teacher should remember that write a sentence on the chalkboard with the new word used in the context. Underline the word. Let students read the sentence and attempt to say the new word using context clues along with other word attack skills. Discuss the meaning of the word or how it is used in talking and writing. Try to tie it to something in their experience. Write the word as students watch. Also ask them to look for any well-known phonograms or word families. Ask students to write the word themselves and to be sure have them say the word while they write it. And lastly, have students make up and write sentences in which the word is used in context. In order to fully understand the context of this topic, let me share with you a video made by Miss Regine Macanlas that can be found in YouTube.
Hi everyone, my name is Regine Meganlas. I am from Eduk 3B, and today I will be discussing about correcting side word knowledge deficit. So, first one, correcting side word knowledge deficit. There's six part about this topic. So we will go through each steps one by one. So the first is write a sentence on a chalkboard with a new word used in context and underline the new word. So the teacher will write a sentence with a new word in it in order for the student to recognize the new word. The teacher will underline it to give emphasis. So for example, our sentence is in a sporting contest, your opponent is the person who is playing against you. This is the sentence that the teacher will write on the board, and she will understand the word opponent because this is the word that we will be tackling today. And then the second part, let the students read the sentence and attempt to say the new word using context clues along with other word attack skills. If you are introducing a new story, it is especially important that you do not tell them each new word in advance, as this deprives them of the opportunity to apply the word attack skills themselves. So, what is a word attack skills? Word attack skills refers to the strategies that help students in decoding, pronouncing, and understanding unfamiliar words most common. So, here's the example. So, same sentence in a sporting contest, your opponent is the person who is playing against you. The teacher should ask, what's the word? And then the students will answer, opponents. The teacher will read the word opponent by syllable. So opponents for you to really emphasize the topic or the word that you will be discussing today. The third part, discuss the meaning of the word or how it is used in talking and writing. Try to tie to something in their experience. If possible, illustrate the word with a picture or a concrete object. Teacher can use illustration where there are two people fighting each other. One is the opponent of the other. It's relatable to the students by connecting it to the experience, like to their foe or confederate. By then, the students can easily understand the meaning of the new word. So here's the illustration or the picture, and then you should also write the meaning of the word. So opponent, someone who competes against or fights another in a contest, game, or argument. The next part, write the word as the students watch. Ask them to look for certain configuration clues such as double letters, extenders, and descenders. Also ask them to look for any well-known phonograms or word families, example, ill and ache, but do not call attention to little words in longer words. So for our example, the word that we are talking about here is opponent. So the most peculiar thing that they will notice here is the double P. So word with the double P that they know, you should always ask them also. They might know the word opposite. So in this step, the teacher can write the word on the board and let the students observe what is peculiar or something unnatural in the word. For example, the word opponent, there's one. It has double P, and the teacher can associate another word with the same composition, which is the word opposite. Number five, ask students to write the word themselves and to be sure, have them say the word while they write it. In this step, the teacher will let the student practice in writing the new word and have them pronounce the word to be more familiar. And lastly, have the students make up and write sentences in which the word is used in context. Have them read these sentences to each other and discuss them. Students have now a little idea about the word. It will help them easily understand a new word. You can do pairing activity where they can create their own sentences with the new word. So that is my presentation. Thank you and have a good day.
And that's it for this video lecture. I hope that our lesson for today provided you with the necessary information that may help you in remedial reading. Thank you for watching and listening.